If there's one thing that makes animation fans happy, it's good movies. That's exactly what Sonic 3 promises to be, especially after the confirmation of Hollywood superstar Jim Carrey's presence in the third film of the series. But he's expected to play the role of Gerald Robotnik, grandfather of Eggman from the first two films, who was the scientist that created the immortal Shadow, another big novelty of the movie. The hedgehog was developed to be perfect, and for that, the blood of Black Doom, the sovereign of an alien race that wants to invade and conquer Earth, was used. But Shadow joined Sonic to prevent the destruction of the planet. At least, that's what happens in the two games inspiring Sonic 3. On December 20th, we'll all find out what this movie, promising to be action-packed, adventurous, and comedic, will be like, just like the first two movies. But this third film will be a bit heavier and darker, precisely to match the new character, Shadow. Stick with us to check out the best movies you definitely can't miss. Moana 2. Seeing Moana picking up the same seashell from when she was just a little girl was enough to get all fans of the 2016 film excited for the next movie of the princess of the Motunui people from the Polynesian Islands. And from the images released so far, everything indicates that the movie, to be released in November 2024, will have a strong connection to the spiritual world where the protagonist's grandmother resides. Furthermore, much is expected about the explanation of why Moana's family has such a strong connection with the goddess of life, Te Fiti. Is there perhaps some blood connection between the goddess and Moana herself? We still don't know, but it's definitely going to be great to see the princess and the demigod Maui once again in an animated movie. Not to mention Pua and Heihei, of course. Despicable Me 4. After seeing Gru becoming a loving father of 3 girls and saving the world from not 1, not 2, but 3 terrible supervillains, it's time to see our favorite villains start changing diapers. Despicable Me will be a milestone in the history of Illumination films because it will bring the next descendant of the family, Gru Jr. Furthermore, we'll get to know Gru's past, the supervillain academy he attended in his teenage years, and his arch-enemy, Maxime Le Mal. All of this in July 2024. Not to mention Poppy, who I honestly am almost sure is Drew's daughter and Gru's niece. Seriously, this is definitely one of the movies I most want to watch this year. ILLUMINATION! Zootopia 2. Released in the same year as Moana, but 9 months later, Zootopia will also get its sequel, but a year after Moana, November 2025. The story will be more centered on Sahara Square, the neighborhood of the city of animals where very rich and powerful animals live, and where there's that magnificent palm tree-shaped hotel where the super singer Gazelle lives. Rumors indicate that some crime will happen inside the hotel, and Judy and now Officer Nick will be responsible for solving this new mystery. Everything indicates that the crime is connected to Nick's dark past and his family. We believe that even Nick's father might appear in Zootopia 2. I wouldn't miss this movie for anything. And you? If you agree with us and really want to watch this movie too, comment below, #Zootopia. Garfield. Anyone who watched the Garfield trailer already knows we'll have a movie that perfectly mixes comedy and adventure. After being abandoned by his father and practically eating all the food from the restaurant where John was, Garfield grows up and becomes even more greedy and lazy. The problem is that he'll be kidnapped by a psychotic cat who wants to do everything to end the race of Garfield's father. In the middle of all this, Garfield will discover that he's braver than he thought and that he'll risk everything to save his father who abandoned him years before. In May 2024, we'll see Garfield, Odie, and their pet human in these extreme danger situations, as long as there's lasagna with plenty of cheese.
You ever jumped a train?
I've never jumped.
Here's that stop.
Really? Where?
Mufasa. Mufasa is certainly one of the most anticipated animated movies from Disney, precisely because Mufasa is such an important character in The Lion King, but died at the beginning of the movie. His story promises to be an incredible origin film that will show the Lion King fans how it all began. The whole story will be narrated by Simba's 2 great friends, Timon and Pumbaa, for their heirs of King Simba, Kopa, Kiara, and Kion. We'll see what the kingdom's lands were like when Ahadi, Simba's grandfather, was the king, and when his 2 sons were still teenagers. Scar was still called Taka and was a good brother and kind sovereign among his subjects. So, the question is, How did he become Scar, the cruel lion friend of the hyenas, lion enemies, and capable of murdering his own brother? That's what we'll find out in December 2024 when the movie is released in theaters. Inside Out 2. Without a doubt, the anxiety emotion perfectly represents what I'm feeling while waiting for the release of Inside Out 2 in June this year. Just by seeing two groups of emotions battling for control of Riley's mind and watching the protagonist enter a new school, making and losing new friends, it's obvious that this is going to be a great movie. And now, with the leaked news that a 10th emotion will appear, and it's nostalgia, I became even more eager to watch this full movie as soon as it's released. Sadness also promises to have a fundamental role in this second film, just like it did in the first one. So we believe Inside Out 2 will be Disney's biggest success in 2024. Wild Robot. We've talked about Illumination films and Disney films, but we wouldn't miss talking about DreamWorks' main film for 2024. Wild Robot. The animation, inspired by a novel of the same name, promises to focus heavily on the touching relationship of love and care between a female robot named Roz, who ends up stranded on an island inhabited only by animals. There, she'll understand the value of life in nature and cooperation, especially after adopting a small orphan goose. With insanely good animation quality, Wild Robot intends to compete for the 2024 Best Animation Oscar. And honestly, given the emotional trailer released, there's a great chance of that happening. This movie is on my list of films I really want to watch as soon as it's released in April 2024. If you're a fan of cartoons and animated films, this is the place for you. So if you're not subscribed yet, click on this button below and join our team now. Saving Bikini Bottom. If you had a good childhood, SpongeBob was definitely a part of it. And as good news to reward all fans of Mr. Krabs' Employee, in 2024, the new SpongeBob movie called Saving Bikini Bottom will be released. After the city is ripped from its place, Bob and Sandy will go to Texas to seek support from the Squirrels family to face the evil executive who was responsible for everything. The movie will mix adventure, music, and a lot of craziness in the best SpongeBob style. Unlike most movies on our list, Saving Bikini Bottom will not be released in cinemas, but on Netflix, which means I'll be able to watch it lying on my couch. That's so great. Toy Story 5. If you're a Toy Story fan like me, you can start your countdown because Disney confirmed that June 2026 will be the year when Woody and Buzz's fifth movie will hit theaters. The most amazing theories about the movie's plot circulate, including the emergence of Andy's daughter, who is now an adult, as the new owner of the toy group, as well as Woody's reunion with his friends, since we all thought that after the end of Toy Story 4, it was really the end of the franchise. But as money talks louder, Disney decided that there was room for one more movie, and whether we like it or not, it's coming a year earlier than most imagined. Many believe that even Sid, the toy-destroying boy, could appear and be the villain of the story. We'll soon find out if all this will become a reality. Super Mario 2. After ending up in the Mushroom Kingdom and defeating Bowser in New York, the Super Mario Bros. Will have other missions and princesses to help in the next movie, which already has a release date, April 2026, a few months before Toy Story. With the Koopa King out of the picture, the main villains of the second film are Antasma, a shadowy being from another dimension, and Princess Shroob, an alien queen who wants to dominate everything and everyone. Illumination started working on the film as soon as it completed the first movie, which was an absolute critical and box office success. So, bring on a second film, and it may be as good as the first, especially after confirming that Yoshi and Donkey Kong will be in it. Frozen 3. Arendelle is certainly a kingdom that is well guarded in the heart of any Disney movie fan. And knowing that, Mickey's House has already put the sequel to Frozen in the oven, and soon it will appear for all Elsa and Anna fans. And why not? Olaf too! With great chances of being the first movie to show the royal family's past in more detail, as well as there being great chances of showing Queen Anna marrying Kristoff, and who knows, awakening a firepower that all Frozen fans would love to finally see on screen. And who knows, at the end of the movie, we might see Anna and Kristoff's children, the future rulers of Arendelle, and perhaps the protagonists of the next movies in the Frozen franchise. November 2026 will be the month when we'll see all these new freezing adventures. And the coolest thing about all this is that we'll be able to see both Frozen 3 and Super Mario Bros. 2 in the same year, just like Inside Out 2 and Despicable Me 4 2. Thank goodness I never get tired of watching animated movies, and not videos either. Since we know you also love watching videos like these, we're leaving 2 super cool videos for you to check out right now. Choose one of them and just click.